Hello guys, what's up? Richard here. Today I have here another guest here on my channel. His name is Pedro. Thanks so much, Pedro, for being here. It's a pleasure to have you here on my channel.
Oh, okay, Richard. It's good to be here. And yes, let's
That's
talk.
that's great. So first of all, I'd like to ask you where are you from, please?
Yes, I'm from São Paulo, a small city. Small, no, not a small city, but close to São Paulo, Campinas. Do you know Campinas? Like,
Campina, yeah, I do. I know it.
yes, yes, 1 hour of
That's
São Paulo.
great.
Yes.
I've never been to Campinas, but I'd love to go there one day. That's a great place.
Do you like
And
here?
yeah, I'd like to go there, you know. But do you have any recommendations? If I went there, what places could I go, please?
Here is not much to do. Like, you can do like soccer.
I do. I love soccer. I
Yes.
usually play it.
Here, yes, you play it.
Yeah, I do. I like playing,
Uh,
with
which
my
po-
friends.
which
That's awesome.
position? Which position you like to play?
I'm forward, you know.
Uh,
It's
I see, I see.
you know what I mean? So
Yes.
I'm reading, you know, currently I've been studying about the words about soccer, in English.
Okay, okay. No. Um. Yes, I like to play too. I'm like to play in attack.
Uh-huh.
I'm yes. Actually, before the situation about the coronavirus, actually I play at least once a week.
I see.
Yes. Actually, I play every Saturday. Every
Every
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yes. Yes.
I see.
I was
That's
playing.
great.
Yes. Yes.
You know, besides,
Yes. Yes. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, I was going to say that besides soccer, I usually work out, and unfortunately, we can't go out a lot, and I miss playing soccer a lot.
Yes. Yes. Here we have the team Ponte Preta. Do you know Ponte Preta?
Yeah, I do. That's a great
Yeah.
team.
Actually, yes. It's not a great team. Like a
Yeah, but
medium team.
it
Yes.
has
But
tradition, right?
yes, yes. By the way, which team you support?
I support Corinthians.
Corinthians. Yeah. I
Yeah.
see. I see.
What about you? Do you support
But
Ponte Preta?
no, I not support Ponte Preta. I support Cruzeiro. Do you know
Cruzeiro?
Cruzeiro?
Yeah, I
Yes,
do. Oh, that's great.
yes,
From Minas
uh,
Gerais.
yes, yes. Because my father support this team, and like,
That's great. That's
yes,
awesome. And I can tell, in this conversation, I already could tell that you speak English really great. And that's really cool. So, could you please tell me a little bit about your experiences in English?
mm-hmm. Of course. I don't think my English is is great. Yes, probably I will make a lot of mistakes in this conversation, but I
No
don't care.
worries. Yeah, no worries. It's all good.
And
Me too. I make a lot of mistakes, but the important
it's
thing is
fun.
to not to face our fears, right? And to try to speak. Just try to speak
Yeah,
English.
of course. Yeah, actually, my listening is very good, you know, and I think is a good thing because in a conversation you have to be a good listener, when you
Yeah,
talk with someone.
yeah, I totally agree.
And my speech sometimes is not the best speech in the world, because sometimes my vocabulary is very short because I don't have all the words, for
I
talk.
see. Yeah,
And yes, and sometimes I want to go straight to the point, but I can't because I don't have, like I said before, I don't have the necessary vocabulary for this.
I see.
And that's why I think I need to work around, for getting
Yeah,
the point.
I
And
see.
sometimes I feel frustrated because of that, because um, I want to express myself in some way, and sometimes I can't, because
I
yes,
see.
like I said before, I don't have the necessary vocabulary for this. But I
I see.
think with the time, you getting vocabulary and you can speak more and more and more, and yes, whatever.
Yeah, that's cool.
And
Yeah, that's interesting that you said that because I actually feel in that way sometimes. For example, we talked a little bit about soccer, and I was like, oh, I need to know more words. For example, the positions of the players. I'm not used to that. And it's normal. I think the best thing is to, for example, as you said, when we can't go straight to the point, I think we
yes,
have at the least to try to explain things, to get the words that we want. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I don't know the specific word, but I
yes,
say some things and people can understand. Oh,
yes,
you want to say this, right? And yeah, that's it. So that's cool. Yeah,
yes,
we have to keep studying about a lot of things. So that's really interesting about English because a lot of
but
fields we have to study, right?
yes. Uh, I think, Richard, an important thing for you learn English well is you notice the things, you know, like you notice when you talk with a native speaker, and you need to notice how the pronunciation, how him say some words,
Yeah,
like, because that's the way then you learn more, like for example, some words I learn because I pay attention
yeah,
what the other people say, you know,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I do.
You need to have this sense of notice things in a foreign language like English, You
Yeah,
need to notice some things for you learn more, Então,
yeah.
I think this is I don't think it's the most important thing in learning language, but I think it's a very important thing. You
Yeah,
need to notice some things. Yes, you need to
yeah, that
notice, you know?
I totally
Yes.
agree with you. And you
What do you
said,
think
for
about that?
example, listening, you said it's the greatest skill to develop, and I totally agree with you because if we don't understand what a native speaker or another person say, we can't have a conversation.
Yes.
But for example, even if we don't have enough vocabulary to speak, for example, if we have the vocabulary to understand what we are saying, at least we can try to use words to get to the point. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So, yeah, I totally agree with you. I think listening is the best skill to develop because if we understand what native speaker says, we can do everything. We can try to mimic. We can try to
Yes.
do gestures. We have a lot of resources. But if I go to a place and I don't understand anything, there is no way out. We feel
No.
lost. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's interesting. I totally agree with you. And I'd like to ask you, how, when did you start studying English? Did you study at a private school? Did you start studying English by yourself? What was that like?
Actually, it's kind of funny because I never really studied English. You know, it's kind of
Uh,
funny because, but since I was a kid, always I've been to exposed with this language. Like, you know what I mean? Like my
yeah,
father, like I don't know, 30 years ago, he he lives in United States.
really?
And
That's great.
yes, yes, for I don't know, for 3 or 4 years, you know, and he speaks English very well, you know. And since I was a kid, always him always push me for learn this language, and
That's good.
I don't know. When I was a kid, I how I say, I know I was not interested in learning English, you know.
I see.
And yes, just now when I grow up, I realized and it's very important, you know, how to speak English,
Yeah,
you know, and it's very important for all your life, you know,
yeah,
because
it is.
if you don't speak English, you can't speak with some cultures around the world, you know, other people in abroad, you know,
Yeah,
because if you're in abroad and you actually you you want to speak with someone and you can't because you have this barrier, the language barrier, you know,
yeah,
and this is a very frustrating, you know, because you wanna to express yourself for someone, you know, and know about the other culture, you know, like talk with native guys in America, in Europe, you know, and you
mm,
can't just for the language. It's very sad, you know,
yeah,
and it's very sad. But yes, actually, I asking your question. Always always I hear a lot of English, you know,
mm,
very text, very audios, um, a lot of content in English. Like I never watch a series or a movie with the subscribe in Portuguese, you know,
oh, that's great.
just in English, and I think it's helping me because it's a slow process, you know.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
You need to used to it with this language. You know, here again, here again, here again, read again, read again, read again. You know, and I think it's the best way for learn. You know, in my opinion, the best way for learn. I think the grammar comes later. I think in the first moment you need to actually hear a lot, read a lot. You know, and get used to it with this
Eh,
language.
yeah,
And yes, in my is my opinion. What
that's
do you think?
yeah, that's great. That's a great opinion, and I feel like, for example, we Brazilians especially, we are used to hearing English because even sometimes, even though when we don't understand anything, for example, when we are listening to songs in English, we don't understand what people are
Yeah.
saying, but we like the song, we like the way the words are pronounced and things like that.
Yes.
So we are used to speaking in English. It's not like, for example, oh my gosh, it's completely different and something like that. You know, we are used to that, and that's really great. And I feel that it's really great to learn grammar. So I
Yes.
support grammar a lot, you know, because I think when we
Mm-hmm.
learn grammar, we can understand how the language works. No, it's like the
Mm-hmm.
rules of the language, and I think it's really cool. But as you said, I also agree we have to be surrounded by the language and listen to everything, you know, TV shows, songs, people having conversations, and also reading, because through reading we can understand and learn new words as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't have to start reading a lot of, you know, hard books. We can start
Mm-hmm.
reading, for example, manuals, for example, books for kids and a thing like
Mm-hmm.
that. It's a, as you said, it's a slow process. So every day we learn something new, and it's a process that we have to take day by day, right? It's not
Yes.
overnight. You know,
Oh.
when I was studying English, you know, before, in the beginning especially, I wanted to learn English, you know, overnight. One day I'd
Yes.
like to say everything like native speakers, but I
Yes.
realized it's not like that. We have to be patient. We have to, you know,
Yes.
it takes effort. We have to
Yes.
every day consistently learn and learn new words and listen to people. So yeah,
Yes.
it's really interesting, you know, it's really
Actually,
hard.
actually, your English is very good. It's very
Oh,
good.
thank you. Thank you. You
You
know,
have
I
you
study a
you.
lot. I have here by me a lot of books. in English,
Oh, nice.
and I usually read them every day. And actually, I'm reading one of them. It's in Portuguese and also in English. So it's
Okay.
how to say everything in English during travel, during the trip, no, when we are traveling. So I have lots of books there, and every day I take a peek, to learn a new vocabulary. So that's great. I love reading and learning words. But it's really, sometimes we don't want to study because we are tired. We just want
Yeah,
to go to bed, sometimes to sleep because we worked. But yeah, we have to be persistent. That's the key
yeah,
to learn a language, I think.
of course.
And how, as you said, you have been studying English since when you were a kid, right? So, but
Uh,
go ahead.
actually, yeah. Actually, um, how I explain to you, I never, I don't know, push push myself hard for learning English. And al- always I enjoy the process. You know,
Yeah.
I always um like to hear songs in English,
Yeah.
watch a series in English, and I don't push myself hard,
Yes.
like um, I just do it, I just do it, and it's lightly process, like um, I don't push myself like I said before. I enjoy the process. I do it a little bit every day. I'm I'm trying to read the news, the New York Times. I
Yeah.
need to yes, I try to
That's great.
to read every day. I try to live every day to read. But yes, it's a slow process, like every day is a little bit. I don't yes, I believe in this.
That's
And
great.
yes, yes, and I have a kind of I don't know privilege because my father, like I said before, speak English very well, and since I was a kid, I was very exposed to this language, and yes, but and I try to speak with him sometimes, but yes, that's
I
it.
see.
That's it.
That's great. And I'd like to ask you as well, what are your goals, with your English? What would you like to achieve, in one day, to travel to a lot of countries, to move to another country. So what is your goal in English?
hmm Um, Actually, I like a lot to travel. Actually, I've been abroad a lot of times.
Oh, you have?
Yes,
That's
yes,
great.
yes. I have been. I have been America, United States. I have been Europe. Um, in Europe, I have been France, England, um, Belgium, Netherlands, Italy, Germany.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh, that's great.
I think I think that's it. Yes, and when you are in abroad, you realize then you need to learn English for travel, you know,
Yeah.
for communicating with other people. And when I was in abroad, some in the first time, like I don't know, I've been in United States, 2014, I think.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I was very difficult to express myself in that particular time, and that's the way I try to improve my English since 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 this travel that
Yeah.
I made. And yes, and in the particular time I realized, and you need to have, I don't know, at least an intermediate level for you communicating, you know,
Yeah, I know.
and you know, but it's hard because actually this year before the coronavirus, I went to in Italy, in Germany, like
Yeah.
4 months ago in February, I think, and the English, the English of Italians or Germany is very different than English of the America. You know,
Really?
and for me, because I'm not a native speaker, you know, in English,
Yeah.
and they accent in Europe of English is difficult to understand because, like I said before, I'm not a native guy in English, and yes, and that's the way you have more listening, you know, because the English of foreigners, like English of an Italian guy, of a German guy, uh, is more difficult to understand than English of the American guy, you know.
Yeah.
And yes, it's a little bit of things, you know, then you don't know. And yes, yes, that's it.
Oh, that's interesting you said that. And yes, that's one of my goals. I think that's why I love English because, as you said, for example, you've been to so many countries, the United States, Italy, France, the Netherlands, and you know, a lot of different languages, and we don't speak all of them. So we
Yes,
have a main language in the world which we can utilize with all of them. So it fascinates me. You know, I feel like, oh, it's brilliant. It's great to learn this language and I can communicate to a lot of people. So yeah,
yes,
it opens up a lot of doors to learn English. So that's why I feel so motivated to learn. And
yes,
that's one of my reasons why I created my YouTube channel, you know, to keep on motivated and keep studying, keep posting
yes.
videos. So that's
Mhm.
cool. And so I I can assume that you became more interested in learning English when you went in the United States, right? Because you
Yes,
could tell, oh, I need English. I can't express myself. Is that right?
yes, yes, of course.
That,
And actually, you asked me before about my goals, uh,
yeah.
my achievements with English. Actually, I want now become a fluent, you know, like a really fluent in this
Yeah.
language. Like, don't you think for talk, you know, like just talk, and the words came out right, and don't think for talk. This is my plan now.
That's great.
Study for in the future. I don't know, next year. Uh, then I couldn't express myself without talk, without thinking. You know, just talk.
That's
And
great.
that's it.
That's
That's
that's awesome.
that's difficult. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was going to ask you, do you think Portuguese when you speak in English, or do you only?
Yeah, sometimes I speak in Portuguese. Sometimes when I speak in English, I think in Portuguese. Or yes, sometimes, but sometimes I think in English when I talk in English.
Yeah.
Yes, because my native land is Brazil, and I
Yeah.
always
It takes practice, right?
yes, yes,
Yeah,
that's it.
that's that's great. That's really great. And my last question, I'd like to ask you, for example, as you said, you don't have a specific method, you know, to
Yes.
study. For example, you hear a lot of English, you listen, and you read. But how long do you usually study every day? For example, how long do you usually read things, listen to things in English? 1 hour, 2 hours a day?
Okay. Um. Okay. Yes. I try to read in my computer at least 1 hour in English. You know, like read tests, read like I said before, read the New York Times
Yeah,
every day. Then yes, the news. I try to do this first, like read 1 hour per day, you know,
that's
in English, and yes, in the rest of the day of my time, I'm trying to get used to it with this language, like hear the max of English than I can, like hear a lot of songs, hear um, a lot of TV shows in English, movies, and this kind of stuff. But I think it's important, and in the beginning, when you read something in English, you read something in English. It's important you heard the same content than you read. You know what I mean? You follow me?
I see. Yes, I do. I do.
Yes, I think it's important you read and you listening the same content. You know,
A lot
like
of times, right?
a lot of times. A lot of times because even like if I heard one time, two times, three times, I think in the five times that I heard this content, I noticed some new things. You know?
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yes,
really great. I realized that. That's
yes.
cool, right?
It's more interesting. It's more interesting if I heard 10 times. You know, if I heard 50 times. Like always, always is a new thing than you don't notice before. You know, always, always.
Yeah,
Then it is very interesting. This is very
that's
interesting.
great. Yeah,
You
it
know,
is.
and
Yeah,
I think
that's why I
is
love
the
repetition.
yes, I think is the a good way for getting there. Um, but yeah, like I say, I think it's important you read in English every day, like at least 1 hour, and the rest of the time, um, you hear a lot of things in English, a lot of things, anything, songs, text, you know,
Yeah,
like transcription, the text with audio, like books, whatever. Uh, but I thinking get used to it with this language. This is um, the most thing
important.
and important. I think. Yes, it's my opinion. It's my opinion. But
That's
yes,
great. Yes, I agree with you completely. I've been watching a lot of Everybody Hates Chris. I say that all the time on my channel, and I watch it a lot of times. I have watched 4 times, and I'm going to watch my fifth time. And it's so interesting. As you said, I can understand. Oh, I haven't heard that word before. Oh, really? He said like that? That's great. Yeah, watching a lot of times we can notice different words. It's so
yes,
incredible, right? Yeah, totally agree with you. Totally.
and yes, and he just say me one thing. Um, Sorry for my mistakes in this
No,
conversation,
no
Richard,
worries.
because
It was good.
my English my English is far to be the best in English in the world, and probably I made a lot of mistakes here, but I don't care. Yes,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
great
care.
you said that. Yeah, that's really interesting you said that because in my case I don't care as well, I'd like to keep improving my English every day, but we have, as you said, we have to enjoy the moment. So
Yes,
yeah, I know, for example, we know how to speak, we know how to express our feelings and our thoughts in English. So okay, we are improving. We don't have to push ourselves a lot, like not to just go crazy, let's enjoy the moment, speak with a lot of people, and it will improve gradually, I think. So that's interesting. But Pedro, thanks so much for being here on my channel. It was a great conversation. I could learn a lot of things from you as well, a lot of great thoughts you have.
sure.
Thanks so much for being here on my channel.
It's a pleasure being here. It's a pleasure of mine being here, and thanks so much for inviting, Richard. And I hope talk to you another time. And
Of course. Let's
thanks
talk
so
again.
much.
Thanks so much, you, Pedro. Thank you guys for watching this video. It was a really pleasure to talk to him. Pedro, he's a really nice guy. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment if you liked the video. Thanks so much, guys. I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Bye, Pedro.
Beleza.